everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know, my name's Alicia and I'm a sous chef with a sweet tooth. And today we are doing a recipe that was actually requested by someone on Reddit. They requested a Madeleine recipe, which is something I've actually never made before. So I got working on it and here's how we did it. So I did the first step here already. As you can see, I got my shell pans. I ordered these on Amazon. The link is going to be below. And I just took some softened butter and put them in each shell. This recipe that I created makes about 17 to 20 Madeleines, so I left 4 unbuttered. I'm going to pop these in the fridge to harden the butter on them. So like I said, I've never actually made a Madeleine, so I started with making a non-keto Madeleine, and don't worry, they didn't go to waste. My boyfriend ate them gladly. I realized that it's the whipping of the eggs and sugar to make them like super fluffy, and then you add in the dry ingredients and all that jazz. But when you add any kind of like fake sweetener or natural sweetener to eggs, they don't really fluff up. But the first time I didn't do anything about that. I just whipped them up, like they said, for 8 minutes with the keto sugar. And they actually turned out the best out of all the batches. I made so many batches to try and recreate that first batch with doing a couple variations to see if I could do it better. Nope, didn't happen. They came out great the first time, and I actually haven't been able to recreate it since. They still taste all delicious. I have, 40 Madeleines to eat, but they all taste good. The thing with Madeleines is that little hump. Like I watched tons of videos online to try and figure out, how they're supposed to look. First batch I made had that little hump. Ever since I haven't gotten that. So we're going to show you the recipe that I came up with. I'm not sure if it's going to do the hump or not. We'll find out when they come out of the oven. So we are going to take 2 room temperature eggs. Get them in our stand mixer because they are going to whip for 8 minutes. So 2 eggs with a 1/4 cup of the Locanto sweetener. I'm also adding some liquid stevia to this also. Because when you start adding too much of the granular stuff, it tends to get messed up. So we're going to whip this for 8 minutes. Okay, while that is whipping, I just want to show you guys, in case you don't know how to zest a lemon. I don't even have a very nice zester or anything. I bought this one pretty cheap. But you just want to make sure you don't get any of the white underneath the rind. So this one doesn't really take a lot off, so you can go over the same spot a couple times. But you want to try to get 2 teaspoons of zest for this batch of Madeleines. So it was about 1 whole lemon's worth to get 2 teaspoons. Eggs are whipping. You're going to want to scrape down halfway between the 8 minutes. In the meantime, well, this has like 2 more minutes left, not even 1 more. I'm going to get this butter melted. Just going to throw it in coffee mug, heat it up in the microwave, medium power. As you can see, it's not super fluffy. Not thick, really. It is fluffy. It's just not thick at all. And like the sugar doesn't dissolve when you don't heat it. So there's like sugar left in the bottom. Okay, so we got our butter is all nice and melted. Our egg and sugar are all whipped up. We are going to add our lemon zest, our vanilla, and the extra stevia extract that I have. Just need to whip it for a few seconds. Then all the lemon zest is unfortunately stuck on your paddle, so you got to get all that off. So like I said, because I had never made these before, I did a lot of research and I made a lot of different batches doing different types of things. Different people had different suggestions on the eggs and the flours and keto and non-keto and how long to chill the batter for. The only recipes I could really find were almond flour. So I figured out a coconut flour recipe with a little bit of protein powder, xanthan gum, and just baking powder. So, and you're going to add salt if you're not using salted butter. But I have salted butter. I had unsalted for a while the grocery store was out of all the salted butter for a while. But it's back in stock now that things are getting semi back to normal. The batter is very similar to my ladyfinger batter before you add the butter. It gets very thick with that coconut flour in there. So once that's all kind of combined, it gets really thick, like a paste. And that was kind of similar with the other recipe, the regular non-keto recipe. The difference is when you add the butter to this, it doesn't get like super creamy like the non-keto with the regular flour in it. There's a whole stick of butter in there. So these again are super high fat, just like my last video, the rum cake, because there's tons of butter in this. And with just that little bit of coconut flour, it's less than a gram of net carbs per Madeleine. Depending on, of course, how much batter you put in each one, which I tried multiple different things on that. Most people just said 1 tablespoon in each one. So I tried doing a little bit more to fill up the pan a little bit more, because the first batch, they were perfect. They had the hump and everything, but they didn't fill the pan up all the way. So I was like, oh, well, if I just add more batter, that'll work. Well, I was wrong. It didn't work. So 1 tablespoon of batter, I think, is what we're going to be sticking with. Just try to get this really smooth. And we are going to chill this an hour this time. We'll see how it turns out. And most Madeleines are baked at 350, but I read somewhere that when you cook with coconut flour, you got to adjust your oven temperature lower because it burns. But it's a nice smooth batter. Still a little bit chunkier than, regular plain flour, but what are you going to do? Can't do anything about that, really. So we're going to cover this and chill it for an hour, and we'll be back to scoop them into the Madeleine pans and get them baked. We'll see you in a bit. So I just thought of something while I was looking over the video footage and I was waiting for this stuff to chill for a little bit, that the first recipe I did, I actually did the regular ones first and then did the keto ones in the same oven, but I turned it down. But I'm thinking maybe it didn't get all the way cooled to 325, and that's why those ones turned out perfect. So I got myself an ice cream scoop here. It works pretty well for this. So I fill the scoop and then I kind of put a little divot in it and not fill it up all the way, so I can get more Madeleines out of it. And plus this is a little bit bigger than a tablespoon, which is what a lot of recipes called for. Okay, so I have just enough for 20 Madeleines, so that makes it nice and even. But I did notice it is better result if you push your dough down a little bit. Doesn't act like regular Madeleine dough, unfortunately. Okay, so all our Madeleines are nice and spread out. I'm going to go back to the 325-degree oven, and these are going to go in 6 minutes. I'm going to turn them for 6 minutes so that they cook evenly. Here is the finished product, the finished Madeleines. Now, if you do fill it all the way and smush it down all the way, they will fill up, and you'll have like a full-size shell. I'm more prone to doing smaller bite desserts. Like these are only a little over 50 calories and less than a gram of carbs per one. They turned out really good. They're super fluffy and soft and lemony. So you got a little bit of the shell look on there. They're definitely soft. See how soft they are? And I have heard that you can just make a couple at a time because they're best when they're fresh and you can save the batter in your fridge. I have not tried that. I also heard that if you keep your batter for 8 hours in the fridge that they turn out better, but I am a very impatient person. So that's most of them there. To finish these off, if you want to do the traditional Madeleine, you do the powdered sugar on top. Again, these are, you know, the traditional lemon and vanilla. There are so many variations you can do. Now, no one would know these are keto. Got to give one of these guys a try, although I've eaten many in the last week or so. But they're super cake-like and fluffy. You can definitely taste the lemon zest in there. And they're very good. And so we've been snacking on them for the last week. I've not gotten sick of them yet. So I hope you guys make these Madeleines at home. I've heard you can also put them in just cupcake tins if you don't have these special shell tins. And if you do, please let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoy this video, please like, share, and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. It would just keep me going, working every week, trying to get these recipes out. And let me know what kind of recipes you can't find that are keto. I will try to come up with a recipe for you. So I will hopefully see you again soon. Bye.